Hey everybody, welcome to another Sunday share with Heavily. That's me. Hey, I know, I'm so sorry guys. I know that you missed me last week, but there was no way I could have done a live because last week I was in a different city and I was attending a conference that weekend, and last week Sunday was also my birthday. So that's why I wasn't here, and I was like, oh, am I gonna do this live on Monday or Tuesday? And I figured I just wait until the next Sunday so I can keep the day that I go live consistent. So welcome for all the new people who have never met me before. My name is Heavily and I am from Jamaica. I live here in Edmonton, Canada, and I speak on topic pertaining to immigrating to Canada. So welcome. And I see I have a very familiar face in the audience. Hi, Trudy. Trudy, you're like a VIP by now. Honestly, every time I have a live, Trudy is always showing out and showing love. I appreciate it, Trudy. Welcome. Hi, Craig. Hi, Dion. I have the beautiful Dion West. Welcome to this session. So today I am only going, let me not preempt because chances are I will talk about other things, but the topic I wanted to address today is what is called the tibreak rule for express entry. And I find it very funny that people are sending me a lot of DMs. And when I ask people to send questions for the live, nobody sent a question for the live. So maybe I should extract those questions from the DM and use them for the lives. But nonetheless, I answer as many messages as I can. I think I've responded to all the messages except the last one I got before this session. I'm like, this has to wait because I have to go on my live and I wanted to show up on time. So yes, Trudy, thank you so much. I appreciate the support. Really appreciate the support. So what the tibreak rule is, it's basically a rule that the government use to basically break the tie. So how that works is when there is an express entry draw. And by the way, guys, there will be a draw, hopefully, fingers crossed, there will be a draw on July 6th. So usually when there is a draw, there is a cutoff score or a minimum score, and this score is your CRS or your comprehensive ranking system score. I've explained what that is on my profile. So if anyone's interested, I've done a reel about what a CRS score is, and I've actually done a post or several posts with what a CRS score is. But it's basically the points you're awarded to determine the strength of your profile or the score that you'll get to go into the express entry pool before you're selected and issued an invitation to apply. So so the CRS score is based off human capital, so your age, your level of education, your language proficiency, and also your work experience, and if you have a relative in Canada. I literally just answered that question for somebody in my DMs. So when you are assigned a CRS score, the government will determine at the next draw, and prior to COVID they were doing draws like every 2 to 3 weeks. They would usually give, maybe in 2017-18 they'd give about 3,700 or thereabouts invitation every 2 to 3 weeks. As the years progress, I remember in 2019 it was probably around 4,500 4,700 persons getting an invitation per draw. So when there is a draw, there is a minimum CRS score. And the minimum CRS score is used to determine all those people above the minimum or at minimum. They will determine how many people will get selected. So if, for example, the government says, okay, I want to give 4,000 people an invitation to apply. If there were 5 people who submitted their profile at the date and time that they did the cutoff, because they have to have a cutoff point to make the selection. If 5 people had the same score, they will use what is called a tie-break rule to determine, if they only had 2 slots remaining, which of those 5 people would get selected. So that's how the tie-break rule works. So if 5 people applied, it is the person who submitted their profile first. So the older profile, provided that profile has not expired, those people would get preference even if you have the same points. So did I explain that to your understanding? I know I have brilliant people on the live all the time. I see a lot of familiar faces and uni grads in the audience. But if you understood what I just said, just let me know in the chat. Just type the word understood or yes, so I'll know that you get the message that I'm trying to bring. Hi, Kat. Yeah, so I was just explaining what the tie break rule is. So thank you. I got a thumbs up. Thank you. I think that means yes, that was okay. All right. So going into this week, I think it's on Thursday. I don't know the dates, guys. You have to tell me which day is the 6th. I'm just gonna check my computer here. The 6th is gonna be Wednesday. My apologies. I'm not in touch with the days and the date. I almost forgot my birthday. So on Wednesday, hopefully, all things being equal, there will be an express entry draw. And then from that day, we will determine, what the point standing is and where people are in terms of getting selected. And if there are any persons in the pool who will be in the tiebreak, I wish everybody luck, but just know that the person who entered the pool first, the ones who created their profile first, if they all did it the same day, it's the one that created it earlier in the day. So it's based on date and time. I wish all those people the very best. And if you have not yet created your profile, now would be a great time to do so. Even though I think for Wednesday's draw, they probably already had the cutoff date selected. That is usually in advance. So when they do the draw, they normally, create a report and they put it out there, and then I'll get to see the report and see where the cutoff date is. So if somebody like one of the persons I was assisting last year was one of my colleagues from pharmacy school. She did her profile last year. It expired a couple days ago, or no, it expired today actually. So she's been sitting in the pool for maybe a little over a year, but again, they haven't done any draw in almost 2 years. So that's quite understandable. The good thing about it is that her IELTS result is still valid. And I had to explain that to somebody again today, that your IELTS result expired 2 years from the date you get your feedback from whichever body you did it through. So if you have the IELTS result and it's still valid, then you can go ahead and recreate a profile. If the IELTS result has expired, unfortunately, someone has to pay again to do the IELTS, and then that goes for that's valid for another 2 years. Sorry, I'm just looking like the light is blinding. So yes, Trudy, to answer your question, if you have a first degree relative here in Canada, it does in fact boost your score. So if you have a parent, a grandparent, or a sibling, a spouse, an aunt, an uncle, or even step siblings and step parents, they too can contribute towards your profile. The score is not that great, but 15 points will get you 15 steps ahead of people with lower score than yourself. But that's the amount of points that's awarded to persons having a first degree relative here. And having a relative is a low hanging fruit because the points that you need to get selected is much higher. And there are people who don't have relative, but because they have a really strong profile and they have very high score, they still will get selected. But I know right now, because they haven't changed it as yet, those persons with the education and the IELTS result, etc., and they're in the pool, they will be selected based off those criteria, the human capital they call it. But come November, when they make changes to the express entry, that might not necessarily be the case because the government will be prioritizing the economy. So if, for example, they have a need for healthcare workers, it doesn't really matter that that person have a relative or not here in Canada, and I don't think it will really matter if they're above the threshold where you get the maximum points for age, which I have been ruminating on for the past couple of weeks. Between age 22 to 29 is where you get the highest score for age. I think they're going to just, you know, put the age aside and say these people have experience, they have the education, they're creme de la creme, they're the brightest. And speaking of brightest, the minister did say something that, let me just not give my opinion about it, but he was basically saying more people are applying for temporary residence to come as student, to come on work permits, etc. And you know, it was proposed that they just select those people and give them permanent residence. And the minister basically said, well, that doesn't guarantee Canada getting the brightest of the brightest. So they basically want people who are highly educated, and if you have skills and your skills are transferable, then you're in the run. You're in the run. Any other question? Trudy, I hope I answered your question. I know I'm long-winded. Hi, Kareem. Well, I don't know what that emoji is because I don't have a bashment iPhone like some of y'all, but only one emoji came through for me. I'm so sorry. Oh, this thing is so weird. I can't even wave. Hi, Karim. Yeah. All right, great. I'm so happy I was able to answer your question. But I'm going to put it out there. So if anyone has questions for me, they send me the questions during the week and I'll answer them on the live. But I usually do get into the DMs and answer the questions that are asked of me. And I hope that you find the information valuable. And I hope that persons will take into consideration what I just said about the tie break rule. If you're interested in moving to Canada, you need to get stepping and you need to get your profile in the pool. Because here's the thing. From time to time, it gets so competitive that the score will move from a 450 up to a 475. If someone would have qualified for a 450 draw at the next pooling, and because they submitted their profile at a later time than the other two candidates I referenced in my example, I was saying if 5 people are in the pool, they went in, they submitted their application on the same day, and those 5 people have the minimum score, and the government only has 2 available slots because it's the minimum. The people who submitted their profile first throughout the day, like earlier timestamp, they are the 2 who will get priority. So I'm saying if you need to get going and get your profile in the pool, because if the minimum score is at, like, for example, 450, yes, it could be this time, but the next draw, it could be 460, it could be 470. And if you're sitting there in the pool from 450 and know they need people with scores above 460, 470 because they have relatives here, they have a higher level of education, they might have work experience or education in Canada, whatever the case is, they have like perfect IELTS score, those people are gonna get selected and you're gonna be sitting there waiting for the scores to fall. And sometimes it does take some time before the scores fall. I don't know. It's so weird because in 2018, the score was in like the 440s. Because I had a friend who got through 440. And then by the time 2019 came around, it was like 475, 470, 475, thereabout. And it would come down before, like, I think it was like April, May, it was in like 454, then it goes to 457, then it comes to 453, then it goes, and it never came down below 450. So if someone was hopeful at 450, that was not gonna help them. So get your profiles done, get them in as soon as possible, because the tie break rule does apply to all profile. And it's not a matter of who knows who, it's not a matter of who's in a higher class, who has higher influence, who knows the minister. That's not how express entry work. It's a matter of everybody getting their profile in the pool, and the strongest profile will be selected. And if 5 people put in their profile on the same day and the cutoff score is at the same, the cutoff point score, the 5 people have the minimum cutoff score, it's the two people who entered first who will get the invitation to apply for residence. So I hope you guys find the information useful. And next week I will speak on a different concept. I haven't decided the one that I'm gonna do next, but someone had asked me to explain what a pool is, and I did it on a live. People are always coming in and asking the same questions over and over, so I probably will do like a frequently asked question segment, or I can just put it out there and you guys ask the question, and then I'll try my very best to answer it as best as possible. All right, so if you all don't have any question for me, this is the end of the live. Anyone has any question? Hi, Katie and Stacy. And I could never figure out, there is someone on the live, it's RX, I figured it's a pharmacist. RX, is it Edmond, like your last name is Edmond or EDM, or is it TEDM, or is it Ted M? I don't know what it is for. But can you just introduce yourself in the live, please? Everywhere. You're next in line to Trudy. Every week, this lady shows up, shows support. She's laughing at me. Okay, you can just tell me your name. You tell me your name, I'll remember. But the other people on the live, I actually know them in person and I know their names. So even if they put some Tony Alicia, that's Katie. I know Katie. Just tell me what your name is. It's what? Rated M? Oh my God. I'm sorry. There's no A in it, so I couldn't see rated. But anyway, thank you. Thank you for that. If you don't want to put your name here, you can just slide into my DM and send your name and I will remember it. Okay. All right, Martina. Nice to meet you. Now I will know that you're Martina. I know Martina. She used to be one of my assistants at the pharmacy. So guys, yeah, that's it. And I'll just reiterate, I just explained what the tie-break rule is. The government uses the tie-break rule to determine which profile will get priority if all the profiles are entered on the same day and they all have the minimum cutoff score that's used for the express entry, the next draw, the next pooling, which is going to be on Wednesday. Then the profile that entered the pool first will be given priority. And that's it for today's live with Haveli. And I hope to see you all next week, Sunday, same place, same time, for another live. Okay? You all have a great evening. Bye.